In this video, we'll learn how to add images to a post or a page in WordPress. Okay, so I'm on my post editing screen for the page I want to add my image in, and I just want it to appear as the very first thing in my post. So the first thing we want to do is we want to click wherever we want our image to appear. So our cursor is wherever we want to insert our image. So since I want mine to be the first thing in my post or at the top of my post, I'm going to click in my first paragraph and press enter once so I have some space right above here. And then I'm just going to click so my cursor is where I want my image to appear. So I'm going to come up here to add media. And by default, this is going to take you to a preview of your media library. So your media library is any images you've uploaded so far to your WordPress site. So if you see your image here, you can click to select it, or you can also come up here in the tab to upload the file from your computer. So if you know where it is, you can click on select file to navigate to it, or you can drag and drop your file into this area, which is a really cool feature, and it'll upload it for you. If you know a URL for an image you want to insert into your post, you could also come over here on the left to insert from URL, and then you could simply paste that in here, and it's going to show you a preview of your image. You can add things like a caption or alt text, change its alignment, and also where your image is linking to, which you just want to be really careful here and make sure you have permission to use that image, because if you use it without permission from whoever owns this image, you might run into licensing or copyright issues. So my image is in my media library, so I want to come up here to insert media and go back to my media library, and it's this first image here, the one with a person dipping a chip into salsa. So I'm going to click to select that, and you'll see this little checkbox appear in the top corner. And if you accidentally select an image you don't want to insert in there, you can also just come over here and hover over that checkbox in the corner, and you'll see it turn into a subtraction or a minus sign, and you can just click to deselect. So I'm going to go ahead and reselect that. And this is all we have to do to insert an image. We can just come down here and insert into post, but we might not have the result we want. It's going to choose a medium size by default, which might not be the size we want. And we can also get some additional changes as well. So I'm going to come over here on the right where you see attachment details. And the first thing I want to show you is that we can actually edit this image directly in WordPress. So right under the resolution, you'll see this link to edit the image. And here we can make some basic changes. So we can do things like rotating the image, and we could also crop it and give it new dimensions as well. But you want to be careful here. So for example, it's going to scale it according to its original resolution, so it won't distort it, which is a pretty nice feature. But if we try to scale this up too much, then you'll see this little exclamation point. I just added a 1 in it, and it's going to add 1,000 pixels to my image. But since my image was only 960 pixels to start with, we're going to get a lot of distortion, and you're going to see that warning. So you want to be careful. You don't want to scale it up to where you're going to have a heavily pixelated image. But if we also chose to scale this down a lot, it's going to permanently crop our image, so we'd have to re-upload it if we want it at the original dimensions or if we make a mistake. So just be careful here if you are using this image editing screen, but it's a really nice feature, so we don't have to exit and go to an external image editing application if we wanted to make some basic changes. So I'm going to press cancel and go back to our last screen, and right below here we have some additional options we can take a look at. Like we can change the permanent URL where our image is occurring or where that image is going to be posting if you want to do that. You can change things like the title, the caption. We can add some alt text or some descriptive text that is telling us what's in this image, which you want to do if this is containing any kind of content or any information that isn't purely presentational, meaning it isn't just for looks. And you want to describe that there for people who can't see. It's going to be read off in their screen readers. It's going to also pull up in search engine results and things of that nature. Our last couple options we can change here are our display settings. So here we can change the alignment. So by default it's none, but we can change it to be right aligned, center aligned, or left aligned. We can change what it's linked to, which I accidentally clicked center there, so I'm going to change that back to none. And our last option is the size. So I've selected a full size, which is 960 by 640, but we could also select medium size or thumbnail if we wanted it to appear at a smaller size. And if you don't like any of these sizes, that's going to be whatever is set in your media settings. So you'd want to go in your admin panel and hover over settings and go down to media and change those settings for your image settings there. But I'm going to choose that full size and click insert into post. And then you can see I have a nice preview of how my image might appear, which if I want to see for sure, I can come up here and I want to save my draft. And then once this saves, I'm going to come over to preview, which is going to open up a post preview in a new page. And then I could take a look at how this will look in my post. So right now it's looking pretty nice, and it's a nice big width, and it's right above my post where I wanted it to appear. I want to show you a couple other options though. I'm going to come over back to the post editing screen, and if you need it to appear at a very specific size or you want some more advanced options, one other thing we can do is we can click on this, which is going to give us some quick options like to change its alignment. We can come over here to edit, and then we have some options we already saw, like changing the caption, the alt text, and things like that. But right here under display settings and size, we can come and click down to a custom size, which is going to allow you to change its width and height. So if you need it to be something very specific, then it's kind of hidden away, but we can do that here. In addition to that, we can give it a custom image CSS class. So if you want to target this with your style sheet, then you can do that here. You can choose to open the link in a new tab if your image is linking somewhere, and we could also set the rel attribute of that link and give it a custom CSS class as well. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this because I didn't make any changes. And in addition to just inserting it inline or in context with our post, we have a feature called setting this as the featured image. So this is going to depend on what support your theme has built in for it. So it might do nothing at all, but if your theme does support a featured image, I'm going to go ahead and click on this and just click the X to remove that so we can see how this differs from just inserting it into the post. So over here on the right side, we have all of our boxes, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and I have this featured image box, and I'm going to click to set the featured image. I'm just going to reselect my salsa image right here. So I see that checkbox knowing that for sure it's selected, and then I'm just going to click to set that. And I'm going to come back up here and save my draft once again so we can see these changes. And before I click to update my preview, I'm just going to show you once again what this looked like before. It's just right in line with the rest of my text. And it's going to be a subtle change, but it will give us a little bit different of a result. So I'm going to come back here and now press preview. And then after this loads, you can see my image is right after my title, and it's a little bit wider, a little bit larger, and then I have the rest of my text below. But although it's just a subtle change, it's nice to know about this option to add images into your WordPress posts. If you want to add multiple images to your WordPress post, you also have the ability to do that as well. So if I click where I want my gallery to appear, my multiple images, I can go back to add media, and it's the second option to create a gallery. So it's very similar to inserting a single image, but we have the ability to select multiple images. So I can just click on these, and it's automatically going to create a gallery for me from whatever images I have selected. So very, very cool. You can see in WordPress we have all kinds of different options for adding images into a WordPress post or a page.